I'm on the run, I've got no alibi for what I've done. Took what you treasure and I'm never gonna give it up. I left these empty streets and hide within the shadows. You think I'm low, but you don't know how low I'll go. I've been hunting for it, I've been planning for it. I'm the villain, yeah, I'm gonna take it. I've been hunting for it, I've been planning for it. I'm the villain, yeah, I'm gonna take it. I'm the villain. I'm the villain. All the money in the world cannot protect you from me. You can flee, but never will you be free from me. I'm everywhere you look, you never will. 'Cause I'm the villain. I've been
program is rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, such true words. It does not matter who the host is. What matters is who's on the other side of this particular equation. Anyways, how are you? I hope everything is good and grand inside of your neck of the woods, because you know what? Today is Monday. Yes, it's Monday, November the 7th of 2022, day 311th of the year. Yes, that's what it is. And only 54. Yes, 54 days left to go. And that is the end of all of it. Anyways, how was your weekend? Did anything exciting happen? Were you the person that hit the $1.9 billion? Yes, the $1.9 billion. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. We will go into that whole arena in just a tiny bit for us to discuss exactly what's going on there. So anyways, outside of that, we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM. And then we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place that we do stuff at.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
Yes, infiltration and Radio Big kind of goes hand in hand, as I am talking about it, moving and grooving. So anyways, as we are broadcasting today, there's a lot of ways of coming out and hanging out with us. It's a really simple process. You can go to callinradio.com to interact with the show. That's the easiest way to do so. The other side of the equation, if you want to get involved and move and groove and all that other fun stuff that we could use words for, you can go to safetyfm.com or radiobig.fm and click on the section that says visual radio. Once you actually get there, there will be a portion. Yes, there will be a portion inside of there that will allow you, if you're so inclined to do so, to take a look-see at what we're doing visually. And I don't know why you would want to put yourself through that torture, but it is an option of doing that. Outside of that, we do kind of keep it on Safety FM, and we do keep it on Radio Big, and you have some options there. And as you hang out in both of those options, the great thing about it is the following. You can take a listen to us 24/7 on either station. So that's the cool part. Anyways, let's talk real importantly about what the hell is going on inside of the world of the trends, because a lot of stuff happened over the weekend.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so going through the trends of the ends of the end. Saturday was World Numbat Day. World Numbat Day. Numbat is Incervicious marsupial. Yes, that looks like a striped squirrel. So there's in case if you're wondering. November the 5th was trending on Saturday. Remember the 5th of November. Gunpowder, treason, and plot. Yes, that's how the saying goes. In case, remember the 5th of November. If you don't know the movie, look it up. You'll enjoy it. Sunday was National Nachos Day. How the hell did I not know this? Nobody discussed with me that it was National Nachos Day. I would have liked to enjoy of some nachos and doing all the fun stuff over there. And I know that sometimes, people need to give me some warnings. That would have been the warning that it was definitely, International Nacho Day. But hey, that's what happens. Anyways, daylight savings time was trending over the weekend as clocks were rolled back on an hour from Saturday into Sunday. Parents everywhere shared one big collective sigh as they poured in the extra large cup of coffee on Sunday morning. I have to tell you, I'm not a huge fan of the standard time. I'll be honest. I like the daylight savings time. I like that extra hour of being able to run around and do much of nothing, but it's still an extra hour. That's the way that I take a look at it. What else was going on? Houston fans celebrated their team's World Series win over the weekend. The Astros won 4-1 on Saturday, beating the Philadelphia Phillies in Game 6. So, if you love the game of anticipation, that was some good times for you. If you don't, well, then it was probably like, what the hell am I doing with my life? And I understand both aspects. Depending on how you're taking a look at it, going, why am I sitting around watching this? But hey, people have to do what's important to them. I'm not a huge fan of baseball. Not a huge fan of a lot of things when it comes to sports, but that's just me. Doesn't necessarily mean that you and I need to be in the same clubhouse, if you know what I'm saying there, as we are talking. So if you're new to the show, let me explain to you what the hell we do, because that might be important for this way you don't get lost in the sequence of events of what is going on. We talk about safety in the news and safety, and then we kind of go back and forth and do our thing. I come back, we do kind of a main story, and then I kind of give you my gibberish of all the fun stuff that it is happening outside there in the world, so that way you know what you're getting into. Also, I'll talk about this a couple of times here today. Don't forget the Safety Differently workshop taking place here in the month of March. If you want to come out to Santa Fe, New Mexico, come hang out with Todd and the gang. We will be there doing the workshop. Depending on, which experience you go, it can last up to 4 days. Depending on what you want to do. That's in Santa Fe, New Mexico. For some reason, I realized that there was a screw-up in there. Or actually, somebody told me that there was a screw-up in there. We were able to fix it. That it said Santa Fe, Mexico. I always have Mexico on the brain, so that could be a reason why that was occurring. But there is an event going on in Santa Fe, New Mexico, the Safety Differently workshop. To find out more information, go to safetyfm.io. That's safetyfm.io. You'll be able to find out a lot more information on what the hell we're doing, and we can hang out and do some stuff. That's always some fun times as we are doing that. Anyway, so let's get us started with some professional broadcasters around here, because I think that's going to be important. They'll be able to tell us what the hell's going on inside of the world of the news, and I'll get to sit back, relax, and do absolutely nothing. Do you believe that? Because some people actually would. That's the fun part about the whole thing. So let's do that. Let's get into some news.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Trey Thomas. Former President Trump will be in Dayton, Ohio at a rally for Republican Senate candidate J.D. Vance. Vance in recent days has opened up a slight lead over Democratic challenger Tim Ryan. Sunday, Trump rallied support for Republicans in Florida ahead of Tuesday's midterm elections.
The people of Florida are going to re-elect the wonderful friend of mine, Marco Rubio, to the United States Senate. And you're going to elect an incredible slate of true MAGA warriors.
During an event in Miami, Trump pushed for the re-election of Senator Marco Rubio, who's going up against Democratic challenger Val Demings. A new national poll just ahead of the midterms reveals a very competitive landscape. The NBC News poll reveals Democrats have caught up with Republicans in terms of election enthusiasm. 73% of voters from both parties expressed high interest in the election. The survey shows the top 3 concerns for voters include the economy, ending partisanship in Congress, and women's rights. Pfizer is working on an experimental RSV vaccine for infants. Mark Mayfield has more.
The company says it's proving effective in preventing severe infections in babies. The vaccine was given to expectant mothers in a late-stage study during the second half of their pregnancy. Pfizer halted the trial after its early success and plans to file for approval next month.
More than 40% of respondents in a new poll say they're worse off financially than they were 2 years ago. The ABC News Washington Post study shows the number has doubled since President Biden took office. You're listening to NBC News Radio.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's urging world leaders at the COP27 summit to stick to commitments made at last year's talks. North Korea is slamming recent US-led military drills in the region as provocative. Apple says shipments of the newest iPhone 14 Pro may be limited because of COVID restrictions in China. And India's government is holding meetings to decide if it should reopen schools after restrictions put in place because of pollution.
Safety never sounded so terrible.
Rated R Safety Show.
Governor Chris Sununu says that former President Trump will not keep anybody out of the race for 2024.
Both sides of the aisle are going to have maybe a dozen individuals over the next 6 to 9 months come out and decide to run.
Appearing on CBS's Face the Nation, the New Hampshire Republican also jokingly called it a terrible idea for Trump to announce a presidential bid before Christmas, amid growing speculation that he will. The United Nations is calling on Elon Musk to ensure human rights are central to the management of Twitter. UN Human Rights Chief Volker Turk published an open letter to the new Twitter CEO on Saturday. It stated that respect for our shared human rights should set the guardrails for the platform's use and evolution. A pair of Kenyans sweep the men's and women's divisions at the New York City Marathon. David Folk Thomas reports.
Some 52,000 runners from more than 150 countries taking part in the annual race through the city's 5 boroughs on Sunday. Boston Marathon winner Evans Chebet finishing first for the men in a time of just over 2 hours and 8 minutes, while Sharon Lokedi taking the women's title with a time just over 2 hours and 23 minutes. The 26.2-mile race begins on the Staten Island side of the Verrazano Bridge before finishing in Central Park.
The World Series champion Astros are set to celebrate their second title in franchise history with a parade through Houston on Monday. Mayor Sylvester Turner noted the festivities will begin at noon local time. More than 1 million people are expected to attend, and the route will be more than 3 miles long. The Astros beat the Phillies, winning the Fall Classic in 6 games. You're listening to NBC News Radio.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush.
Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobilemobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial. So, do you feel like you're missing out on what everyone is starting to do now, that live streaming thing, and you don't know where to start or what to do? I have the resource and the information to provide to you in regards on how you can stream onto 40 social media platforms all at one time. Yes, that's 40 social media platforms all at one time. All you'll need to do is go to safetyfm.com/1. That's safetyfm.com/1. That's ONE. So just in case, and you'll be able to start live streaming just like you're hearing people starting to do right now, up to 40 social media platforms.
US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, magical might be a far stretch, but it is something, that is for sure, as we are hanging out on this lovely, lovely Monday, with it being 17 minutes past the top of the hour, as we are going to do this and have fun and do, what the hell? Did I just break into song? Because it sounded like it. It sounded like I just broke into song, and I don't know what the hell's going on there. It seems like there's a lot of stuff going on inside of the world. So let's get into some news, because I think that that's going to be important for you, what you and I are doing today. So taking it from the very top, there are some buzz in the Twitter world that Elon Musk might make a run at turning the new social media toy into a real competitor to YouTube, which is owned by Google. By Google, just in case if somebody goes, you said Google. In a series of tweets over the weekend, Musk said that Twitter will soon allow much longer video content to be posted. It is currently capped at 2 minutes and 20 seconds for non-paying users, and for people who pay for the premium Twitter Blue, which is already being a thing before Musk took over, videos can last up to 10 minutes in the short term. So it says the videos will be able to be at least 42 minutes long and even an hour long in a month or so. So there you go. Musk also suggested that Twitter may, just listen to this, Twitter will pay out the shares of revenue to the people who post original video content and rack up enough streams to merit a piece of the pie. When one user pointed out the YouTube shares are 55% of ad revenue with creators, Musk replied, "We can beat that." Meanwhile, to appease our democracy in the borough of Elon wants to make Twitter a profitable company that doesn't actively censor, the wrong thing. Twitter is delaying the new Pay the Blue Check program until after tomorrow's midterm election. Meanwhile, at Facebook, remember when Musk was laying off Twitter bloated workforce because he was trying to end democracy or something? This is what the editor wrote. Now he explains that the layoffs were now explain the coming layoffs at Meta. Facebook's parent company, the Wall Street Journal, reports that the management is preparing to inform employees at a large scale layoffs this week. As of September, it boasted headcount of 87,000 staff in total. No word yet on exactly what will be the number of people that are actually being let go. And if you would, it'll be a wide scale of reduction in force since the company had been founded. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see what the hell is going on there. So what do you think about it? Like, how do you come across and let people know about what is going on? It's going to be an interesting one. You know, you sit around and you think about it, and a lot of people are going to be really pissed off about everything that's going on. I mean, and I get it. I'm not saying that it's nonsensical, and all that other fun stuff that we can come up with and talk about here. So just something to think about as we are hanging out. What else do we have? The Air Force crew that hauled a plane packed with Afghan people trying to escape the Taliban last year have been awarded the Distinguished Flying Cross. Their C-17 is meant to hold about 400 people, and they took off with more than twice of that on board. To make a successful mission more impressive, the Kabul airport is already at the altitude of 5,900 feet, which complicates getting enough air underneath the wings to generate the lift to get such people packed into the plane and off the ground. A military news site tasked the purpose points without knowing how much weight was in the back. The crew also likely did not know how much runway they would need to get airborne, whether they would have enough until it would clear the mountains surrounding Kabul, or whether they would take much small arms and fire from the Taliban and off what they were actually taking off. So it'll be interesting to see. You know, it was interesting to see, better saying. But wow, I mean, that is something. You're taking off double. You possibly don't have enough air. And you're doing the move and groove of things that need to be done. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing when you think about it all across the board there. Take a listen to this. Taylor Swift is the darling of young women everywhere, unless it's a tour announcement ruins your wedding. One engaged couple had blocked a hotel room reserved at a hotel near Foxborough, Massachusetts for next May, as their wedding happened to coincide with Swift's tour stop at the nearby Gillette Stadium, so the hotel canceled the room's reservations in anticipation of making bank off of the Swifties traveling for the show. But wait, after some pressure from local media, the hotel management reinstated the block and comped the couple's room, providing them with free use of their wedding rooms for their wedding parties before the nuptials. Yeah, so hold on. Let me make sure that I got this. So because you got Cotty of doing some shitty stuff. Oh, I'm sorry, for doing some stuff. Then now all of a sudden it's okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't get it. I would cancel. I would definitely cancel the hotel just for being dicks. I mean, but that's just my thing. That's for sure.
Who truly cares what this guy has to say? Who gives a shit? Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's talk about this real quick, because I think that this is going to be important as we are hanging out. A newly discovered black hole that's about 10 times more massive. Yes, 10 times more massive. 10 times more massive. Let me make sure that I'm saying that. Massive than the sun, at a quick 1,600 light years away from Earth. It's making its closest known to the black hole. The discovery was a collaboration between the European Space Agency and the Harvard Smithsonian Center for Atmospherics and International Gemini Observatory in Hawaii. So there you go. So think about that. 1,600 light years. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, yes, it does sound far, but when you think about it and really give it some thought, it's like, is it as far as I'm really thinking? I don't know, because I really know shit about space, so I couldn't tell you. So just think about it in that fashion. Anyways, keep an eye out for tomorrow's blood moon in some parts of the country when the alignment of Earth, Sun, and Moon cause the moon to appear as a reddish color. It will actually be the reddest earlier in the morning after 4 a.m. on Tuesday. By the way, if you're the type to look at for signs and omens, perhaps the moon color for a specific political party during tomorrow's midterm election. I'm just kidding as I say that. But think about that tomorrow. You're going to have the blood moon on election day. It's going to be one of those things where people are going to go, what?
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, with that being said, I think it's time, because it is 24 minutes past the top of the hour, to bring some John Small inside of here and let him tell you about what's going on with the Market Beat.
Market Beat Minute for Monday, November 7th, 2022. Equity markets confirmed the downtrend last week, forming a dark cloud cover on the weekly charts of most major indices. The dark cloud cover is an ominous signal akin to an outside day, and it points to lower prices for the S&P 500. The fact this signal occurs below key resistance such as the 150-day moving average, the top of a channel, and at a previous low only makes it stronger. The index may hover at the current levels for the next week or two, but without change in the economic winds, a move lower is all but assured. There are two major hurdles for the market this week, and the first is Election Day. The election will bring a change to the outlook for better or for worse, and it could alter the trajectory of the stock market. The other hurdle this week is the CPI reading for October. This is the first of 4 major inflation readings before the next FOMC meeting, and will absolutely have an impact on the outlook for inflation, interest rate hikes, and the odds of a major recession in 2023. You can get the inside track at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, John Smalls, for the information on what the hell is going on out there. So here's what I was able to locate. The Dow added about 401 points on Friday to close at 32,403. Year to date, 4,181 point as it is down. The S&P added about 50 points to close at 3,770. It's down 1,026 points, more than 1/5 since the start of the year. The NASDAQ added about 132 points to close at 10,475. It's down 5,357 points, more than 1/3 from what it was last year. West Texas Intermediate ticked up to $92 a barrel on Friday, and Brent crude closed at $98. The national average price of a gallon of gas is $3.80. Bitcoin lost more than $180 on Sunday and was trading at $21,110. And there was 2,782 flights delayed within, into, and out of the United States on Sunday, and such as 153 cancellations. So there you go. Anyways, let's talk real quick about what the hell was going on inside of the box office, because some people tend to care about that, even on this show. So let's talk about it. Terrifier 2 made $1.2 million at number 10. Halloween Ends was $1.4 million at number 9. That's down from the number 5 spot from the previous week. Number 8 was Till with $1.8 million. The Banshees at number 7 with $2 million. At 6 was Lyle Crocodile, $3.37 million. At number 5 was Pray for the Devil. Yeah, Pray for the Devil. That's BREY, $3.8 million. And number 4 was Smile with $4 million. Number 3 was Ticket to Paradise with $8.5 million. And number 2 was One Piece Film, Red, $9.4 million. And taking it in at the number 1 spot, once again, was Black Adam with $18.5 million. So there you go. The Rock dominating 3 weeks in a row there. So good for him. Dwayne The Rock Johnson doing the stuff that he gets to do over there. Anyways, let's talk real quick about some other things. Southern California, first major rainstorm of the fall arrives today. Trey Thomas has some more information.
Some residents like this man are worried about mud and debris flow, like what they saw earlier this year.
About 3 or 4 feet of mud that accumulates down there. That's what we're preparing for. Kind of a disaster, really.
Some parts of Los Angeles County could get between a 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch of rain per hour today, and up to 5 inches of rain by the time the storm passes. The storm system is expected to last through Wednesday. I'm Trey Thomas.
Okay, thank you, Trey, for the information right there. As we get to share it, you get to share it, and we get to go. Anyway, Republican nominee for Governor Tudor Dixon spent Sunday with rallies in Troy and Sterling Heights as she tries to end Governor Gretchen Whitmer's time in office. She hit on education, and just in case, this is coming out of Southeast Michigan.
It's time to make sure that our kids can read, write, and do math. And if you look at our latest test scores, that is not what they're showing. We are in the bottom 10 in the nation for education.
So there you go, just hitting the roadway with letting us know what exactly is going on there. That's going to be some interesting stuff. Let's keep it right there. A mother in Clarkson is putting up a billboard to raise awareness of the dangers of fentanyl after her son died from it. Rebecca Emlichsud says that her son Brandon Reynolds had been sober after going through rehab before overdosing on fentanyl.
Enough in his system through the autopsy report, it was 100%. He had enough to kill hundreds of people in his system. He didn't stand a chance.
She put a billboard in October, and another one will soon be in Lansing. The group, she says, is now part of the installed 90 billboards nationwide with dozens of people who have been killed by fentanyl use. Rebecca also says that her son, Brendan Reynolds, has gotten sober through rehab when he took the deadly amount of fentanyl.
He unfortunately went out, and he was obviously seeking something, and he got something entirely different, and he was poisoned, murdered.
I mean, terrible news. I mean, just terrible news across the board when you talk about any of that kind of stuff. Keeping it there in Michigan one more time, Governor Gretchen Whitmer took part in a rally on Sunday in Grand Rapids at the Pew campus of Grand Valley State University as she makes her final push for votes before the election.
It's a fundamental question. Are we going to keep moving Michigan forward, or are we going to go backwards? Backwards on women's rights, backwards on voting rights, backwards on education investment and investment in infrastructure and economic development.
So a lot of stuff going on there. The Democrats say that she'll be filling her promise from the 2018 election to fix the roads, has made significant investments with the public education and created thousands of new jobs. Whitmer mayor predicted that the state will win her fight to protect against abortion rights. Republican challenger Tudor Dixon held rallies yesterday as well, as we just previously discussed, and Governor Whitmer says that she deserves a second term. Deserves, well, not the word earned, but deserves a second term after her success of the last 4 years. Take a listen.
Landed an incredible number of jobs. We're building out industry for generations to come. My opponent wants to take us backwards on all those fronts. I don't think that's the Michigan that we want or deserve.
I still don't like that word deserves. I deserve to be reelected. No, you don't. You could earn something. I don't know if you deserve anything. Whoa. Rough stuff there. Anyways, it is 32 minutes past the top of the hour exactly. So let's go ahead and do this right now. Let's go ahead and get into our main story.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so it is time to talk about it. It is time to do it again. It is time to sit here and talk and look around at what is going on in this marvelous industry of ours. And talking about the things that people do, the things that people say, the things that we want to believe in, but sometimes have a really hard time in doing as well. And listen, I understand that when you are out there doing the stuff for the world of safety, you want to talk about it. You want to make sure that people are aware of what you're doing. And listen, I understand as well that what you do for work and what I do for work is a level of marketing. And now listen, I know that there has been people that are out there that tell me that I should not say that. That I should not say that when it comes to the work that we do, that it is marketing. Well, to an extent, however you want to take a look at this grandioso thing, it is marketing because you have to tell someone. But now we run into some problems. We run into some issues where people like to, we'll say, quote unquote, over-exaggerate the things that they're doing. People like to quote-unquote tell you stuff that is blended with reality but not truthful. So there is some extent of truth, and then the reality becomes something else.
I have started doing a great thing out there, which makes me be fabulous as I do the work that I do because I am the president of my own fan club. Yes, you heard me correctly. I am the president of my own fan club.
And that's the stuff we have to talk about. Listen, I get so interested and intrigued by some of the things that I see out there. Anywhere from people who have less than 20 people as a subscriber as their podcast, and they're claiming that they're getting thousands and thousands and thousands of listens to their safety podcast, to people going out there and talking about how they have 30 different things, 30 different letters behind their name as they are doing the things that they are doing out there. It comes across sometimes as a level of insecurity. And it's kind of funny, particularly like with the people with the podcast stuff, that I laugh at, realizing that what they don't realize to an extent is that there is a way to get stats. You can go and look at stats on podcasts on how great your podcast is. And also when it comes to these long letter things that people want to put behind their name, I wonder if sometimes they realize some of the letter sequencing that goes behind it. Now, let's talk about this because I think it's important to mention. And the portion that I want to mention here is this. When you become the president of your own fan club, because that's a thing, you have to come to the understanding as well as you do this that people can look into what the letters mean and how long it takes to actually get some of these. And I will tell you, there are certain organizations that are out there that if you do minimal work, you can get letters in a very, very short period of time. Does it not mean that you didn't take the test? No, it doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that you didn't do X, Y, and Z. But it means, that people can find some stuff out. So as much as one wants to talk about what we're doing inside of our industry, I also look at it and go, be careful what you wish for, because you may just get it, and people might find out more information than what you want them to know. And listen, I don't get this whole portion of me saying I have 1 billion people that listen to me. What does that mean? And we've talked about this before. People are familiar with the word trash, and it does not necessarily mean that that's a good thing. So, what are we trying to accomplish here? What exactly do you want to brag about today that you've actually have accomplished? Maybe that's something to think about, opposed to actually putting nonsense out there that's not truthful. If you want people to take you serious, don't be like me, that's number one. But if you want people to take you serious, you have to be truthful on what you're doing. Honesty and integrity is a huge part of what goes on inside of this world. Think about that. Especially give that some thought today as we're going through the world that we go through, because it makes it interesting for sure. Keep in mind, marketing and honesty is important, because there is marketing and lies, and people figure it out in the long run.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service Anything from inspecting the law site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
Hey, Dad, your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad, your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey, why don't you take a minute?
When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can, making sure they're safe and comfortable. But it's just as important that you take some time for yourself. At AARP, we can help with information and useful tips on how you can maintain a healthy life balance, care for your own physical and mental well-being, and manage the challenges of caring for a loved one. Because the better care you take of yourself, the better care you can provide for your loved one.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you. You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
All right, class. Let's hear what everyone did this weekend. Jill?
Well, I raised my older sister to a big oak tree. It was at least 100 years old. My mom said I must have set a record or something. And then we went down by a stream and perched up on this huge rock and saw all of these little minnows swimming around way below us. And then I rescued my little brother from an evil slug king who was guarding him at the bush fortress. And my sister and I brought him back to our super twig fort for safety. And then we all laid out and told stories until it got dark. And the Big Dipper led us all the way home. Wow. Awesome. Where were you, Jill? Yeah. We went to the forest. It's not that far away. Anyone want to come this weekend?
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week and find the fun, adventurous you. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and were not 100% sure on what they meant. Things as mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Tearing the ass out of you like gas station sushi.
It's the show, and they just make fun of a whole bunch of people. It's just too funny. It's too stupid.
Rated R Safety Show.
I've been planning for it. I'm the villain, and I'm gonna take it. I'm the villain. I'm the villain.
All the money in the world cannot protect you from me. You can flee but never.
Oh, you are still hanging out here on the Rated R Safety Show as we are doing our thing right here. You know, moving and grooving and all that kind of fun stuff. You know, we're having all kinds of fun. 44 minutes past the top of the hour. That's Jared Mark with The Villain. The song's available on Spotify and iTunes. Let me know when I am not saying the truth. A lot of stuff coming in right now on the little message stuff of, you know, people questioning on who I'm talking about. What's going on? It's not hard to figure. Ask me no questions, I say no lies. That's not really what's going on. You know, I have to call it as it is, because that's the way that it goes. I get frustrated over some dumb stuff, it seems like, and that's okay, because I think that we are okay with getting frustrated with some dumb things. I just don't understand, you know, that particular move. It just doesn't make sense to me. And I figure, hey, if you and I are hanging out, let's talk about it. Let's see how you feel, because I think it's important. So anyways, let's get into this. Let's talk about the most important thing that I will tell you in my lifetime. And that's about my friends at Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. They can help you prevent suicide. The Lifeline provides 24/7 free and confidential support for people in distress, prevention, and crisis resources for you or your loved ones, and best practices for professionals in the United States. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to their website at 988lifeline.org. That's 988lifeline.org. Or you can text the word TALK to 988. Call 988, or just go to their website and click on the chat box. That's the easiest way to do it. This is the most important thing that we'll talk about in my lifetime. And we need to make sure that we get the stigma out of this conversation, because it is so important to talk about this, opposed to it being one of those things that is just put into the corner, not discussed, not addressed. We need to talk about this more and more frequently, because it is something that is hardly ever discussed, at least not into the method that it needs to be. Anyways, let's talk real quick about some things that are going on inside of the world of the news, because it's important. Have you heard about this thing called infladating? Yeah, infladating. Now really something to look forward to, but singles can expect cheap dates in the new year. The dating app Plenty of Fish has coined its term infladating. Yeah, infladating. After a survey of 8,000 users, yes, I did say 8,000 users, they found that a steep 48% of single millennials and Gen Xers suggest going more of budget-friendly dates. It's not surprising given to the recent inflation pressures economic indicators. Kate McLaren, a dating expert on Plenty of Fish, says that singles are feeling the financial pressure. So it's not surprising that infladating, or taking someone to a less expensive budget-friendly date, will be much more of a prevalent in 2023. U.S. stats show that yearly dating costs shot up to $3,030 in 2022 compared to $2,375 in 2021. But you got to admit, that's one hell of a date. I mean, just think about it. And but that's because in 2021 all of our dates were via Zoom. So really, what were you paying for? You're probably paying for some level of a subscription service of what you had to do, because that's probably made the most sense. It's like mood lighting, some mood music, and Zoom.
Another pitfall of our society. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's talk about this real quick. Some tech talk stuff and a major breakthrough. It's now possible to send messages from the brain to an iPhone. Yeah, we might not quite be at the point to where you can think and bring me a snack and a recent will pop up on your partner's phone in the next room, but if we may be a step closer thanks to a device that can be surgically linked into your brain. Yeah, the Synchron Switch is a computer brain implant which has been granted approval by clinical trials by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. The goal is to assist those who suffer from conditions such as ALS, which affect the nerve cells and responsive in controlling voluntary muscle movement. Synchron devices are designed for permanent additions to the body and so far have lasted more than a year in 4 patients with no serious adverse reaction. So hold on, with no serious adverse reactions. So what have been the adverse reactions? And has anybody watched Lawnmower Man? Maybe that's the next question to talk about. So there you go. Some stuff to think about. And then according to a computer model, a hunchback, a claw-like hand, and a second eyelid could be common features in the human autonomy in the future. That's according to a new report that warns the overuse of technology could be steering our human evolution in the direction that leaves people looking deformed compared to what others consider a normal thing today. The team factored the wide range of scientific studies and experts' opinions examining the physical and material changes that come to consist of exposure to smartphones, laptops, and televisions. The results also predicted that people can develop tech neck, where muscles where they can grow limit damage to poor posture, and the sedentary of a lifestyle could result in reduced brain capacity. How long is it going to take? Because my neck is killing me. Maybe that's something to think about as we are talking. Anyways, currently 50 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out and talking. Let's do this. Let's bring some John Smalls inside of here and let him tell us about what the hell is going on with the Motivation Minute.
Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Patsy. C.S. Lewis said, "Love is not affectionate feeling, but a steady wish for the loved person's ultimate good as far as it can be obtained." Okay, well, that's one way to look at love. Sounds pretty scientific. I think love is a little bit magical, really. Love for your children will allow you to not notice some of the things that you dislike about other people's kids. Love for your pet allows you to slip your hand into a baggie and pick up things you'd never pick up for a pet that you don't love. And love for a spouse will trick you into fulfilling a honey-do list that you'd never do, even if you were paid to do it for someone else. That is love, and I am honored to know the feeling of all of those. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlessaMorgan.com. When we go for exercise, we normally don't think about our brains. However, interestingly enough, exercise intensity may determine which brain regions are affected during a workout. Low-intensity exercise activates brain regions involved in cognition and attention, while high-intensity activates brain regions involved in mood, emotion, and dampened motor function brain networks. Exercise at both intensities improves mood. Low-intensity aerobic exercise is at about 50% of a person's maximum heart rate, while high-intensity aerobic exercise is at 75% maximum heart rate or higher, and should last for at least 18 minutes. Target maximum heart rate is defined by age and can be calculated using a formula 220 minus age. For more information, check out AlessaMorgan.com.
Always replicated, but never duplicated. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, there you go. 52 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this marvelous Monday. So let's get into some more things because we always have more things to talk about. It always seems that way. Let's talk about this real briefly because it did make the rounds over the weekend. So take a listen to this. The singer Aaron Carter has died. The singer was reported found dead in his home in Lancaster, California on Saturday. Multiple sources told Page 6 that his house sitter found his body in a bathtub. An official cause of death won't be known until the autopsy is performed. He was 34 at the time of passing. Also, Ray Guy has died. The legendary NFL punter passed away on Thursday. No cause of death was announced. He was 72 at the time of passing. You know, it's always amazing to me, especially when you take a listen to a 34-year-old passing away. And listen, I'm not putting priority over one than the other, but you don't expect to hear a 34-year-old passing. Just not something that you expect. So, of course, our condolences with both families as we are talking. Let's talk real quick about some other things that are going on inside of the world here. Take a listen to this. No winner for Friday night's Mega Million drawing. Tuesday night's drawing will be for a $154 million jackpot or a $74.7 million cash payout. Hey, that's not bad money, however you look at it. Now, listen, no winner for Saturday night's Powerball drawing. Tonight's drawing will be for $1.9 million jackpot or $929.1 million cash payout, which is a new record. And we didn't do the math, but the guy on Twitter that says that the jackpot is so high that if you bought every single combination, as long as you are the sole winner, you still would walk away with $198 million after the lump sum. I mean, that's not a bad gig, but you just have to have the money to buy all those tickets. That would be something to think about right away as we are talking. I mean, would you want to sit there and try to crack the combo? Maybe that's the other question. So let's take a look around at some things that happened back on this date. So let's take a look at the year 2000. Americans go to the polls, and that what would become one of the closest elections in history. George W. Bush eventually beat out Al Gore through the former Texas governor lost the popular vote. The victory came after the Supreme Court intervened to be the end vote of the recount for the state of Florida. So there you go. You know, Florida causing some things to happen. What a shock there. What? So let's talk about some birthdays for today. Lord turns 26. Race James turns 29. David DeGee turns 32. Adam Devine turns 39. Rio Ferdinand turns 44. David Guerta turns 55. Tommy Thayer turns 62. Christopher Knight, that Christopher Knight from the Brady Bunch, turns 65 today. And Joni Mitchell, she turned 79. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, I have some of those for you. It's National Hug a Bear Day. I hope they're talking about a teddy bear, not like a real bear, because that just sounds kind of scary. It's also Job Action Day. National Bittersweet Chocolate Day. Now, I have a friend that likes to talk about bittersweet all the time. I wonder how they'll actually take a look at those chocolates. And then National Broadcast Traffic Professional Day. It's not exactly what you think, but it does have some very strange things that do tie into it as we are talking. Let's talk about this real quick because it could have an impact on what's going on in your market. Take a listen to this. A planned merger between two major grocery store chains is on hold thanks to court orders in Washington State. Trey Thomas has more information.
Restraining order issued late last week will keep Kroger from buying Albertsons. The deal was set to happen today. A spokesman for Albertsons says the company will seek to overturn the restraining order as quickly as possible. I'm Trey Thomas.
A restraining order? That sounds pretty serious when you start putting it in there. We got a restraining order for you not to be able to buy this other chain. I mean, that's something to think about as we are talking. Real quick, let me take a look if I can, because I know we are running out of time. We are at the 56-minute mark. So over the next couple hours, if you want to come over to radiobig.fm, I'll be going over there doing the things that I do, hanging out, doing some music and all that kind of fun stuff. If you stay on Safety FM, you will go into the Sheldon Primus show, where he's the safety consultant and talks about everything that's going on. You can do that at safetyfm.com or go to radiobig.fm. You can hang out on either app. That shouldn't be a problem. Anyways, if you need a random joke for today, I can resist anything except temptation. If you need a phone starter for today, try this. For what sporting, concert, and entertainment event would you buy tickets regardless of the price? And if you need a question for the water cooler, try this. According to a survey, 5% of households that have one of these never use it. What is it? 5% of households never use this. What is it? It's actually a dishwasher. I would have never thought that. A dishwasher is what that answer ended up being. So just think about that as we are talking. Anyways, thank you for taking the time to hang out with me on this lovely Monday. Don't forget about our little event that's coming up in the month of March. That is a Safety Differently conference, or workshop, better saying, that you can come to, hang out in Santa Fe, New Mexico. You can find out more information at safetyfm.io. So there you go, safetyfm.io. So here you go. If I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. Only a mediocre man is always at his best. Only, let's rephrase that. Only a mediocre person is always at their best. Maybe that's the way to take a look at it. So thank you for hanging out. Thank you for being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, because we could not do what we do around here without you. The most important part, that is for sure. I hope you have a great week. Start your Monday off the right way, because that's always important as we are talking. I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.
I've been planning for it. I'm the villain. Yeah, I'm gonna take it. I've been hunting for it. I've been planning for it. I'm the villain. Yeah, I'm gonna take it.